video of 3.1. First video of 3.15. Doing a little lightning arrow storm rain action. Was supposed to just be storm rain, but didn't really like how storm rain was playing, so still using it. Just using it as a like supplemental DPS for a boss. It ends up being like the main boss DPS. It's pretty huge for bosses. Just didn't care for the delay of the skill really for farming and mapping, especially with like as fast as they're making the monsters. You get a couple of those buffs on them and they're kind of ridiculous to keep up with, so I just felt like it was struggling a little bit. But you know, I'm sure they'll get it adjusted right. It's still a fun skill. Like I said, it's awesome for bossing. I tried a poison variant of it also, and same thing, like for a boss you could just scale up to millions of DPS, like 20-30 million DPS, but it was so slow because the hits are such low damage that you really got to get a lot of stacks on, but you can get, I mean, just an insane amount of stacks on bosses. I think I built it with totems, and you're just sitting at the 100 arrow cap all the time, and then if you run conk effect and really get the arrow area down, you can just put a ton of poisons on. But anyways, for maps it kind of sucks, at least in its current state with the delay that it's got. So I decided to add in lightning arrow, which makes life a lot better because lightning arrow is fun. And now that everything's kind of nerfed, it's reappeared as a good, I mean, it's always been a good clear skill, but now it actually is kind of top tier. At least I think so. So anyways, just want to show you guys a map. We'll go over the gear here in a second. I'm going to run this Conqueror. My gear is still pretty starter-ish. Oh, I should have saved that. I'm gonna die here. Come on, dude. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, I haven't got very far in the league, so my gear kind of sucks. I got like some gear with like 20 life rolls and just crap. Anyways, we'll go run this dude.
I will never go down without a fight, beast. I'm better. Keep chasing.
Of course, he wants to run around and be ridiculous. Just make sure you keep him cursed. Might die to that ailment, who knows? Probably don't have a poison class.
I'm better. Easy
Alright, here
prey.
you go.
Hold still.
You hold still. There we go. So once you quit, like, you know, being a pansy and just jump in there and do some damage, you can kill stuff pretty quick. My gear is still, like I said, leaving a lot to be desired, so there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. I got a POB, we'll go over here in a minute. I do want to show you guys one of these though, because the build really excels at these. So I don't know if you guys have noticed a theme with my builds. I always try to find something that kind of works with the build, the theme of the league. You know, for all the like run in circle leagues, I tried to make things with like passive DPS that you could just run around in circles and let it kill everything. This one, you know, you kind of got waves of monsters coming at you, so you can and you know where they're coming from, so you can kind of like create a choke point, or where you want to like hold down and do your DPS. So I always try to build these. You know, I don't really particularly like starting and then coming across like here. I'd like to come from here straight out, so I can kind of set up in here as my little base camp and then kill everything coming out. Obviously the chests kind of depend on what happens, but currency is going to be the first one I go for anyways. And then I kind of try to scale one or the other. So if you're doing runic monsters, grab all the runic monsters. If you're doing chests, grab all the chests. Oh, this is a jackpot in here. Yeah, we're just going to like hit everything in here. None of this stuff I don't think can kill me, so. Boom, boom, boom. So then, with the knockback and the crit, it kind of gives you a buffer. And some of these mobs can jump through it or teleport through it, or I don't know, some of them feel like they can just freaking run through it. But we're pretty high evasion, and for the most part, you can kind of just hold your ground. There's a couple of these guys that are just ridiculous. Like this guy here, what are you doing? How much health do you have? There we go. But yeah, it's really good for league mechanic because you can you kind of create a wall of knockback and just sit behind it and, you know, unload lightning arrow on everybody, and your storm range do an awesome DPS. It's not that the DPS of the skill is bad. It does incredible damage. It's just terrible to play, I think, or at least to map with. Like you can't, you either got to stand still and do all your damage while everything's bum rushing you, which, you know, in PoE that's usually, if you don't have something like knockback kind of creating a barrier for you, that's a good way to die. Or you got to run around and kite everything, and which is fine too. But if you run around and kite everything, the skill's got such a delay on it that you end up like missing the monsters most of the time. So, anyways, here's the build. I'm using the Tempest bow. Plan on using this the whole way through. I mean, you can make a really good rare and outperform it. You'd have to redo the build a little bit to make it, you know, better. But the Tempest is just such a great bow. I need to get that Harvest Craft on here for the alley damage too. Anyways, Tempest bow. I'm gonna run lightning arrow. We're not worried about any conversion or anything since we're only pretty much supplying lightning damage to everything. You can just run the standard lightning arrow. Then we're going to do inspiration, both for damage, crit, and obviously some break on the mana. I think my mana cost is what, 23. We attack like I don't know, 0.3, so like 3.5 times a second, 3-ish times a second, somewhere in there. And then once every pop Val haste, it like shoots up to over 5. Got like 200 mana open, but we do okay with mana the way it is. You just got to keep hitting something, obviously. Added lightning damage is your most important gem. I've had so many people, so I got a forum guide up for this. I've had so many people message me, I'm not doing any damage, I can't kill white mobs, what's going on? And I go look at their character and they're running, you know, lightning arrow, inspiration, Mirage Archer, and GMP or something, or even LA damage with attacks, and they're not putting any flat damage on the skill. With the way the Tempest works, it gives you a little bit of damage as a base, but not much. You're really scaling all of your damage with flat lightning and then your crit. So make sure you have added lightning damage. Now on lightning arrow, it provides some flat itself. Storm Rain does not. So make sure you're running your added lightning damage on both skills. That's essentially your weapon. Like your added lightning damage and your Wrath aura are pretty much your weapon. And the Tempest is just, you know, using it, just shooting it around. Anyways, then we're going lightning penetration. We are 100% lightning damage on this build for the most part. LA damage with attacks. The absolute highest damage multiplier is Elemental Focus, but I still wanted to be able to shock. I'm running Impulses right now. It's not the best armor for the build. Hyre's Ire is the best for damage, plus some extra dodge. I'm just pretty poor this league, so I haven't bothered getting a 6 link. I'm only running a 5 link Impulses, and I'm just for farming maps, it's fine. But if you don't care about shock, you'll want to run Elemental Focus. If you do want to shock, if you are running Impulses, or you just, want to shock, whatever, Elemental damage with attacks is just a slight less multiplier. It's not a big change. And once you figure in the shock, if you can get reliable shocks on bosses, it's actually more damage. But we'll see how that plays out, super end game. Athens Chant. So this is me being lazy for the most part, not required. I just don't like cursing things. Plus I'm running Hydra Spear with this build, so even more work that I have to do. I don't like doing any of that. And I mean, it's great for the build. It's got attack speed, move speed, mana regen, all stuff we need. But yeah, like I said, I'm running Hydra Sphere. So this gives Lightning Arrow something to chain against. With our Ascendancy, we have +1 chain. So whenever you're doing single target, you have your totems up behind you with Storm Rain, or in front of you, and then you're blasting with Lightning Arrow, and your Hydra Sphere is automatically always going to be on the boss because your helmet's keeping it on top of them, and you're going to just keep pinging arrows back and forth between those two. So with the combination of Lightning Arrow and Storm Rain, it's not a terrible bossing build. Then we're running Conductive, so we're running Dual Curse. So we got Conductivity and Sniper's Mark. Sniper's Mark, not only the biggest damage multiplier out of all the marks for us. Cursed enemies take 32 increased damage. So that's a 32 more multiplier for damage. It's like another support gem on our skill. Pretty huge. And then we also get some flash charges, which it's only for life and mana, which kind of sucks because I am running a life flask right now just to have. I'm not running a mana flask, but it is what it is. But the big thing is the projectiles which hit cursed enemies split towards 4 additional targets. So the way that marks work, in case you don't know, you can have only one mob marked at a time. And so hexes can do a group of mobs, marks can only do a single enemy at a time. So since we're automatically casting this with our helmet, we're always usually, there's always one mob in the pack that has the mark on it. And when we hit that one, we get basically a GMP effect with Lightning Arrow, and it goes out and takes care of the rest of the pack. So that's why we can get away without running GMP over here, because we're kind of got GMP on a curse in a sense. And then I'm running Power Charge on crit. Now this only matters whenever Hydra Sphere crits, so it's not like super reliable on clearing, because usually the pack's gone before the Hydra Sphere gets there. But if you can park it on a boss and just start jamming on them, you'll have three power charges in no time. Like I said, chest, I'm running Impulses. Hyri's Ire is the probably the go-to. You get some. We're not scaling cold super high, but we do just have some generic elemental damage. If you wanted to invest into cold a bit, you can run like a Trinity version. I don't know, might be better, might not be, don't know, didn't build it that way. But either way, we're going to run Storm Rain. So with Storm Rain, you do want the anomalous version if you can get it. If you can't get it, that's fine. Quality this guy up the rest of the way. If you can't get it, that's fine, but don't quality the standard version, because the quality on the standard version is increased AoE, and we don't want AoE. We want no AoE. Since this is basically our boss-only skill, we just want it to be as small as possible. So the gem itself has no damage on it. It just gives physical converted to lightning, but since we're not running physical, we don't really care about that. So anyways, you're going to run an Anomalous Storm Rain, get that qualityed up. I'm running it on a totem just to make it passive and easy, with GMP to get the arrows flying faster, and then lightning penetration, and added lightning damage like every skill we have. Everything else is rares, life, res, crit, whatever you can get. Flat lightning damage, anywhere you can get it. My gear is garbage. Just haven't really put a lot of hours in this league, so I haven't perfected anything. But yeah, gear's kind of garbage. I got my res capped. Got like 4,100 life, so good enough for me. But yeah, ideally you're going to want flat lightning damage here, 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 and here. And on your quiver. I got a little bit on my quiver. And then that's pretty much it for the gear. Let's go over the tree real quick. Actually, we'll do this on POV. So, like I said, we're going to be at Deadeye. Leveling, I took Gathering Winds first for the Tailwind. Makes leveling a lot easier. And then we're going to take Ricochet. This helps your lightning arrow clear without putting any chain or extra links on it. And then Endless Munitions gives all of our skills 2 additional projectiles. So this helps both Lightning Arrow and Storm Rain. Really helps on Storm Rain, getting up to that 100 arrow maximum. Then we're going to grab Focal Point. So this one's kind of your last. You can do a couple different things. Focal Point's going to be the highest DPS multiplier, and also the less damage taken. That's obviously nice. You can also run Far Shot if you want to play a little bit more defensive. Stay at the edge of the screen, let everything kind of go in and do the work for you. Occupying Force, I don't think is very good for this build. I originally built it with that, with just Storm Rain itself, but it kind of sucks with Lightning Arrow. And then if you're playing it hardcore, you just don't want to die as much, Wind Ward's great. As far as the rest of the tree goes, basic Ranger tree. Grab all the life you can on the right side, which isn't much. I actually kind of run out and get some extra here just because I didn't want to die all the time. Grab all our elemental penetration. Make sure you get acrobatics, phase acrobatics. Get the bow wheel down here. Grab Heartseeker. Grab your jewel nodes. I didn't put a jewel in that thing yet. Get your crit nodes. I grabbed this because I was suffering for some accuracy. Plus the blind's really strong for evasion-based builds. It's like not a super efficient node. What do we get almost 10% DPS from it. I guess it's not too bad. Your Anoint is going to be marked for death. This gives us some additional damage and built-in culling strike, since all of the boss fights we do are always going to be marked. Give us built-in culling strike. That's nice. Get some more life over here. Then you're going to come up top, grab life, a little bit of crit, more life, grab your second curse. You don't have to do this. You can knock this whole section out right here and probably do another, I know it's popular for people to put whatever that Lionized Glare, or Lionized, whatever the jewel is, and grab these nodes. I know that's popular. I wanted to run Dual Curse just because I like it. For the cluster jewel, I have martial prowess. So basically we're just scaling attack speed everywhere we can, right? So the Tempest has a really high attack speed, and we're just scaling as far as we can. So we got attack speed here, a little bit more accuracy on martial prowess. Feed the Fury, huge attack speed boost while we're leeching, and it gives us a source of leech. Fuel the Fight is more attack speed and some mana leech. So once you grab this, you can. So I'm running Essence Sap right now. I don't have my cluster jewels yet. Once you get your cluster jewels, you can drop Essence Sap, or until you get your cluster jewels, make sure you run Essence Sap to keep your mana going. For a small one, we got, or for a medium size, we got Streamlined and Repeater, both just for projectile speed. So projectile speed helps out, or I'm sorry, attack speed and then projectile speed. Storm Rain gets a nice boost from projectile speed. That's pretty much it on the tree. Gear, like I said, most of it's going to be rares. Jewels are going to be your currency sink. You can get some really nice jewels, and if you do start getting a lot of really good jewels, so the ideal jewel is going to be Flat Lightning twice, Crit Multi, and Life. I know these jewels are ridiculous. This is kind of the high end version. But if you start getting a bunch of these, you might want to spec out some other damage nodes and get some more jewel slots. We're not far from a handful of them. We're only 2 points from this one, 3 points from that one, or I guess 4 points from that one. Yeah, that one's 4 points too. But we got a couple more we could pick up if we wanted to. Oh, also, make sure you're running a Stygian Vice so you can get an extra one in there. And if you have some really, really good jewels and you have your resist capped otherwise, you can run a Darkness Enthroned. And if you put 2, jewels like this in there with the modifier Darkness Enthroned gets, you'll get some stupid high damage. So as far as DPS goes, so Lightning Arrow is going to be our main clear, about 1.5 million. My intelligence is a little low in here. I just had one through and made sure I got an int roll. You're definitely going to an intelligence roll on your Ami or your ring. I got one there. You're probably going to, I think you're going to need 2 pieces. Build's kind of intelligence hungry, just because we're using so many blue gems, but it is what it is. So anyways, Lightning Arrow about 1.5 million. And then for your Storm Rain, now the reason this is so ridiculously high is because I did put the beam frequency enchant on here, and it's huge. If you can get that, it's really good for your DPS. So let's see, if we come in here and we pull it off, let's just throw something on. We lose, just taking the enchant off, we lose 21% more DPS. That's pretty crazy for just a helmet enchant. So if you can get it, I don't have it, but if you can get it, it's pretty awesome. I'm gonna start farming some some labs, see if I can't get it, just because it's such a huge difference on the DPS of your single target. So anyways, with the 6.6 million, that's with 60 beams overlapping. I don't know if that's right. If we did 50, it'd be 5.5. If we did 75, it'd be 8. Either way, you're going to be putting down some decent single target. So we attack, let's see here. Our attack rate's 3.2. I don't know, you can go through and do all the math if you want, but either way, it's going to be putting down a ton. I think we shoot, let's see, projectiles. Storm Rain, beam, projectile count is 8. So we're shooting 8 projectiles out of 3 totems, 3 times a second. So we're getting a ton of arrows on the ground. But anyways, that's the build. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to probably push it a little bit further. Might do like an in-game wrap-up video for it. Might not. I don't know. This league kind of sucks, and I'm not having as much fun as normal. So I don't know if I'll be sticking around much longer this league. But if I can, I'll throw another build video up for this one, and then maybe try something else. I don't know. Doesn't seem like there's much out there that isn't either already being played to death. As you can tell, we got like, 35% of the game is playing 2 Ascendancies. Just seems like it's going the wrong direction to me, but that's neither here nor there. Hope you all enjoyed the video. See you guys.